See, this is only 2 of us, and it's even scuffed. I miss an entire Wither Horde, and I miss my sword like 5 times. The sword does so much damage. It's free. So as you can see from the footage, the DPS on this is insane. Between the slow burn of the Wither Horde and the bursty DPS of the sword, they go down very quickly. And if things were optimized a little bit better, I probably could have soloed the dungeon boss, but I wasn't perfectly optimized. Now, any enemy on strikes, any bosses in strikes, even nightfalls, if you do this as a team, you will kill them like that. So I'm going to show you a couple variations of this build, because if you're going for a big tanky boss like a dungeon boss, they require something slightly different if you want to keep that DPS up the whole time. Realistically, guys, if you just want to use Wither Horde and Falling Guillotine, and that's it, you're still going to do insane damage. But I want to turn it up to 11. Okay, I want to bring it up to level 12. I want to bring up those levels so that you're doing so much damage, it's not even funny. So how do we do it? The big one here, and I'm sure has been multiple videos made on this, is the Lucent Blade. Now, this thing gives you a huge stack to your damage. It's like 35%. Alright, so check this out. My first attack does 12,500. My next does 18,000, and it will continue to stack up with a Whirlwind Blade. Now, I'm going to swap to a different one that doesn't have Whirlwind so you can get a better idea. This one here, 12,000. And then 16,200. So this thing is like a 35% boost to your overall damage, meaning that you are going to truck bosses with one of the best weapons in the game already, and then you're stacking on that much more damage. And yes, this damage applies to the charged attack. So you are going to annihilate anything in your path with this build. Now there's a couple variations of it I want to show you. On something like a dungeon boss, you need more stacks. So this build is going to have Supercharged. Supercharged allows you to get 2 extra stacks up to a maximum of 5 with your charges of light. That means that you've got 5 bursts of 5 seconds for a total of 25 seconds of bonus damage on your sword. And that's pretty nice. On my gloves, I've got the Lucent Blade. You can use this in any order. You don't have to do in the same order as me, but these are some of the perks you're going to be looking for. I've got the Lucent Blade here, which is giving me that bonus. Now, on this piece here, I've got stacks on stacks. Gain an extra stack of Charge with Light for every stack you gain. This one isn't mandatory. There's other ones you could use. You don't have to grab this one if you don't want, because even though this is going to give you those extra stacks, in many of the situations where you're using it, you have a lot of time to generate them, and you're only really using them when you're fighting the boss. So I don't think you need this unless you really want to stack it up really quickly or something like that, but this one's not necessary. Now, another one here, I've got Taking Charge. There's multiple ways that you can get this, but honestly, masterworked weapons drop a ton of orbs of light. I think that this is the most efficient and the easiest to do. You can put this anywhere, but grabbing an orb of light from you or your teammate is going to give you stacks. You'll get this thing maxed out as soon as possible. And on my other one here, I've got Charged Up. This allows for 1 additional stack of Charge with Light, getting us up to that top tier 5 stacks of Charge of Light. Now this build is if you want to do DPS to a big boss, a dungeon boss, a raid boss. You have a DPS window, you need to unleash hell for 20, 30, 40 seconds. That is where this build is going to come into play. But what if you just want to nuke a boss in 2 seconds? Well, I've got something better. Now, before on my Bond, I had an extra Charge of Light, but now I've swapped to High Energy Fire. While Charge with Light gain a bonus to weapon damage. Each defeated combatant consumes 1 stack of Charge with Light. Well, the nice thing here is a boss is not going to die. So, you can lay into them with even more bonus damage, kill them in just a few seconds, and it doesn't really matter how many stacks you have because you're going to kill them so fast that it doesn't really matter. Now, you don't have to use this, but there's multiple alternatives if you want to get even more damage for a single target boss. So this build was set up for the long DPS phases, but with things like strike bosses and nightfalls, you don't need 25 seconds of insane DPS. You only need like 5 of them, or maybe even 10. And so you can actually take out 2 pieces of this and still have an extremely effective build. And you can actually take out 3 pieces if you're just doing regular strikes and you want to kill the boss in one phase, 5 seconds. If there's multiple people doing this, you're going to have so much damage you don't need all this. So let's trim some of the fat. I'm going to switch to this helmet. I'm going to switch to a random mark. It doesn't matter. I've got 3 pieces that are going to make this build work just as well. So you need Lucent Blade still because that's the big DPS dealer. And then we've got the Taking Charge to get Charge with Light from our Orb of Light. Now, if you're looking for 10 seconds of damage, all you have to do is take stacks on stack, and that first orb you pick is going to give you 2 stacks, and you're going to be deadly. But you don't even really need to do that. If you wanted to get it instantly, you can do this, but realistically, all you need is the 1 mod. So, if you want to pick up an orb and get 2 stacks right away, you can do that. But even if you don't want to use this, you want to use a different chest piece, you can. With just Lucent Blade and this bad boy Taking Charge, you can get the 10 seconds, you hold on to it, and then when the boss spawns, you pop it. So let's take a peek. So as you can see, I pick up 1, I pick up 2, I'm maxed out on Charges of Light. With just 2 of these perks, I am now going to be a sword master, absolutely annihilating anything in my path. It feels like cheating. It feels like cheating. Now, you also can stack on the Wither Horde, and now the DPS is just even more dumb. I feel busted. I feel broken, but I want to show you something that's even nuttier. Now, you're probably thinking, this looks amazing, but what if I told you we could stack even more damage? It requires a Void subclass, but with the artifact mod Oppressive Darkness, we can debuff the enemy and do even more damage. Now, I think that Titan is going to be kind of the best class for this because it allows you to throw the suppressor grenade or the magnetic grenade, but you also have the bubble, and the bubble is one of the best buffs. So between everything, you are going to be doing so much damage it's not even funny. So without the bubble or anything, let's just take a peek at what this would look like. You run in, you throw this, you throw that. Oh my goodness! I didn't even have time to do my whirlwind. It's so much stacking damage that the bosses cry. They cry. Now what happens if you throw down a bubble? Alright, so the bubble's popped, we throw the grenade, we Wither Horde, and I don't gotta spin, I don't gotta do nothing. I'm crushing! I am crushing these bosses. So, if you want to have some of the deadliest damage you've ever seen, if you want to farm like a boss, this is it. Okay, really quick recap. All you need is Lucent Blade and some way of getting the Charge with Light. This one is probably the easiest when you use Masterworked weapons because everyone is generating orbs all the time. By using Oppressive Darkness, a bubble, Wither Horde, a sword, and these perks, any boss is going down very quickly, even as a solo player, allowing you to carry strikes and other activities single-handedly. But if everyone is using this in your squad, it feels like cheating. Bosses instantly get deleted in many cases, and I feel dirty, but I also love it. So if you're looking to farm fast, It's time to farm for the Fallen Guillotine. Get your Wither Horde going, and if it's a longer DPS phase, we can stack on even more charges of light. We can get even more of them, and it starts getting really nutty. It starts getting really dirty for 35 seconds or 25 seconds for a long time. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.